morning. It is March 15th, 2024. A beautiful Friday. It's relatively blue skies. A little bit cold still, but this whole week we're supposed to be up in the 60s up where I live in Morgan, so that's going to be beautiful and fun. And I've got my garden started, so I'm excited about that inside, and then we'll move it outside, so it's all wonderful. I keep getting just tons of questions in my inbox, my email. So every time I take a drive, I'm trying to just take one of these questions and answer it. And they'll be on various subjects and different things because that's what the questions are. So bear with me on all of that. Today, the one I'm answering is somebody asked about how to clear your mind, like your brain, how to get it to keep from just spewing thoughts at you all the time. And it's a problem that a lot of people have that they think is a problem. So it is a problem because they think that. And then the thoughts themselves are not relevant to who they are internally. The thoughts themselves are not relevant to the life they're trying to live. Probably more importantly, in the meantime, in the right now. So how do you do that? There's a few ways that you can do that. One of the biggest ways you hear of all the time, there's a lot of ways you can do that. Here's the few I'm going to give you that I think are the easiest, that I can describe the best, that have worked for me definitely. One of them is one you hear about all the time, is be the curious observer. So inside yourself, you have to settle down and then watch your thoughts. Settle down and then watch your thoughts. So you get quiet as if in, going into meditation, but instead of meditating, and maybe this is meditation, you just sit and watch your thoughts. Just notice them and then let it go by. You can even tell your thoughts, right? When you see it, when you notice the thought come up, literally point at it and say, I see you. I recognize you're a thought. You can go by, right? And literally like push it to the side. Now chances are really high it's going to come back around because that's what they do, right? It's been probably happening to you for years, if not your whole life. So every time that thought comes up, you can do the same thing to it. Eventually what will happen, because you're not focusing on the thought, you're letting it move by, what happens is you're breaking up the neural plastic inside your brain that's holding that thought in its place, that's created kind of a chain or a loop to it that you keep getting back to easier and easier, right? It just kind of happens all on its own, right? People tend to think that that is part of the subconscious mind idea, is it just comes out of nowhere. But that's not subconscious according to the true definition of subconscious, which I don't believe is a real thing, anything. I think that was a made-up thing by the lovely Sigmund Freud and his team. But neither here nor there. You break up that neuroplastic, right? The neuron and the protein and the synapse they start to come apart, and the synapse doesn't fire as fast, so you don't have the thought as often. But it takes a concentrated, focused effort in saying, no, go away, go by, right? I see you, go by. I recognize you're a thought form, go by. And just keep letting it go by until you're no longer thinking about it. What you will find out is that you have to find something else to think about, because that's what your brain does. And I would encourage you, instead of thinking in thought form, think in picture form. Start forming beautiful pictures of things that encapsulate total concepts or total ideas to put in the spot of whatever those thought forms were originally. Because your brain does not think in words, it thinks in pictures, right? And then there's a part of the brain, I guess it's kind of a little monkey in there throwing out words to you that you know, and along with their definitions, right, wrong, or indifferent, you end up with this concept of whatever you're thinking about or fighting with or struggling with, and then there you are. So sit down, go inside yourself, get quiet, do some breath work, know that your brain's going to spin out of control, be there with it, just know it's going to happen. Look at your thoughts, point at them, put your finger on them, and then say, I mean, you could even tell it that's not me. That's what we used to do, was we'd look at it and say, I see you, that's not me, go by, push it, right? So you push it by you. So that's one way. And definitely works. It's what I used back in the day when my head was totally out of control with thoughts from a bunch of kids that lived in my house that were totally unruly and naughty and mischievous and conniving. That's how I helped separate my true self from that nonsense, okay? So whatever your nonsense is, and clearly there's still some of that in there. Did you see my irritation just go up? Make note of those things, right? This is literally how you do this. When it comes back up in your system, you make note of it, and then you do that work on it, right? So I would go back in, because I just noticed myself doing that in the irritation. I would use the feeling of irritation, and then the thoughts that I was just spewing all over you guys, I'm so sorry, out of my mouth. I would use those thoughts, but in a quiet state, and watch them come back around. I would even go looking for them. I would tell myself, show me where those thoughts come from. Where are they? Where are they in my brain? Right hemisphere, left hemisphere, both? Where are they? In my body? Where is that locked into my system? Where is it? Bring it back up, and then I would do the same thing. I would put my finger on it, point at it, and say, that is not me. Go away. Go by, right? So I would do that over and over until that clears the system. All right. Another way that you can do this is to visualize yourself inside of a huge room, kind of like a warehouse or a barn. I usually find myself in some kind of huge barn out in the woods. Like, I can smell the nature, I can smell the trees, I can smell water, I can smell the wood, the mustiness of the wood, kind of, I can smell it, right? Really get in there with it. If you're in a huge warehouse, you know, smell whatever a warehouse smells like. But wherever you're at, make it empty. I don't want you to have anything else to worry about focusing on or looking at. In your mind's eye, just make it this huge empty warehouse. They can have posts in it to help hold it up, the beams across the top in my barn, right? See them, notice them, smell them, feel them, notice what it feels like. Really be present to it. Once you're there, and it's empty, it's totally empty, totally pristine except for you in this space, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a nice deep breath, and I want you to visualize a big box. A big box. I want this box to be empty, a big empty box. And then I want you to visualize this box, whatever color. It can have borders, it can have like ends on it or caps on the corners, but I want you to try and visualize it as though it is invisible. You can see through it. Maybe it's not invisible, but you can see through it. So it could be some kind of glass or plastic, plexiglass. It could be some kind of crystal nature, which is what I used. I went for like a really clear crystalline gemstone kind of thing, and I put that was my box, but I could see through it, right? So make sure you can see through it. I want you to breathe through this as you are standing in the middle of your barn or your warehouse. I want you to focus on that box, and now this time, every time a thought comes up, I want you to take that thought out of your head and move it to the box and just drop it in the box. It cannot get out of the box. Once you've put it in the box, if you have to physically close the lid, but make it so that it cannot get out of that box. We are closing all of these thought forms inside of this box that you've just created. The energy of this box is beautiful, is powerful. It's going to hold the form of your thoughts inside, basically holding them captive for you, so your brain no longer has to hold them captive. And keep doing that over and over. Reach inside your head, notice what shows up, whatever comes up into your brain, take it and move it, drop it inside this box until this box is full of every thought that you had inside your head. And then I want you to know the separated distance the separate distance between you and this box of your thoughts. Just notice it. Notice that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are in there going on without you. They're just happening because it's the constructs, it's the things you've created over your lifetime. Perhaps it was created for you. It's there nonetheless, so just keep noticing those thoughts. Pay attention to them. If one comes back up and you feel it inside your head, or you notice it inside your head, take it and put it inside the box, and then notice it from the box. Don't notice it from your brain, notice it from the box. Now, as you keep doing this over and over, you're going to start to notice that your brain can feel rather empty. You're going to notice that your brain can feel rather empty. It's kind of nice. It gets really quiet. And in that space, I sit and breathe, and I recognize the separate nature of what I truly am from the thoughts that I create inside my head. And I allow those thoughts to be. I allow them to stay in the box. I do want you to recognize you can pick these thoughts back up whenever you want to. You can have them all back if you want to have them all back. If you just want some back, you can have some back. You can put some back in the box whenever you're ready to. You can close the box. You can walk away from the box. So I want you to turn around and start walking away from the box. For now, leave your thoughts in the box. Turn around and start walking away and become more aware of yourself. The isness inside of you, as Muji would say. Notice more of yourself. Keep coming inside of you, deeper and deeper, noticing more of yourself. And let those thoughts stay in the box. They're contained, they're taken care of. You can have them back whenever you want them. You can leave them there as long as you like. Take a breath, settle into your heart, and I want you to focus on the nature of the quietness. If something shows back up in your mind, take it and put it inside the box. Close the box, walk away from the box. Notice that there is a space between your thoughts and your awareness, where you can become more of yourself, more of the true nature of who you are, instead of the thoughts that program you. Take a deep breath and try and remain in the state, right? This is always the goal, is can you stay in the state? And your litmus test is always the same in my head, is what happens when you walk in your life like this, without thinking all the thoughts. The only time I think a thought is when I need to, about something I need to go do, like I'm about to walk into a Staples to get some tax forms to reverse my I-99s, my 1099s. Yeah. So I'm thinking about I have to go get those forms. It's my only thought. It's interesting. Can you walk out your day like that? So that's what I want you to practice doing. Practice walking out your day. If the thought shows up, put it in the box. Keep practicing that. Or do it the other way, the first way I described, whichever way you decide to do it. But practice letting this get quiet. There is more function for this to do if it is not compacted and compounded by the thoughts of the world, by the things that you were taught, by the things that are irrelevant to the awareness, to the isness, to the I am self that you truly are. When you can remove yourself from the thoughts of the world. I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world. It's that kind of an idea. When I can be in the world, but not be so compacted by all the thoughts and fear that's been manufactured around us, we'll talk about this some more later, all of a sudden my brain has a different function. It has a different skill set. My brain is devoid of all these silly thoughts that come from this world, from the fear-monger, from the, all the craziness that's going on right now. My brain is devoid of thoughts of that, devoid of thoughts of my past. That's a huge one. If I don't have to keep shuffling and fighting with those, that's huge. All of a sudden, my brain, in correlation with my spirit, my brain, my soul, everything comes into alignment with my personality, the mind-created thing, right? That's now clear of its own thoughts. And all of a sudden I can see a little bit differently. My brain eventually will start formulating pictures of things that I don't even know what are. I think I'm making things up, right? It's the substance of reality through imagination. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. And you sit there and you don't want to say anything to anybody because they're going to tell you you're hallucinating. Maybe I am, but it's the best hallucination I've had this whole lifetime, right? It gets really cool because you're seeing, and somebody might call it into other dimensions, or you're seeing in other places. But I think when your brain gets quiet and you realize you don't have to fight with any of this stuff, you don't have to keep thinking the same old thoughts, that opens back up and you start to regain your superpowers. Hello. Come on now. Does it make sense? Is it helpful? Comment below. Put in your thoughts. What are you thinking about this way of doing this? Clear your mind and then let your brain let it do its job, right? Our brains right now are not doing the job they were created to do. These physical brains have been so beat up and pounded on with all the nonsense of this world that is made up also, right? It's how they control you. We all know this at this point. How do you clear it? How do you get your brain back to its original function? Because through your brain, that pineal gland and pituitary, all of those things, hypothalamus, they start working in a different, I want to use the word olfactory function that's not just for the physical. It also takes you into other realms, but they have to work together, right? It's an intermesh system because we're stuck in this physical form, in this character. Anyway, I hope this helps you. I hope it blesses you. If it does, please hit the like button, help this video move, share it, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to reach for higher ground at this point, getting my subs built up so I can do bigger things with this channel. I was going to just let it go, but there's just something about YouTube. You know, we go into these other channels and you've got everybody preaching all kinds of stuff, and they're open channels. You don't know if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. At least if YouTube says you can't say it, we know that it's part of the lie. So it's fascinating. The whole thing is fascinating. So like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Email me. I do have a new email for my new website, which is about to come out. I'll drop those below so you can find those easily. And if you want a private session, I help people get into heart coherent states. I help you clear the system. I help you find the energy within you, because we combine our efforts. Where two or more are gathered, it's just more powerful. It just is, right? So we want to combine our efforts together to help clear whatever's happening inside your system that you're having trouble with. And then also to teach you, right? I'm a teacher. I want to teach you how to do what I do. That is all. That is my only goal in life, is to teach you how to do some of this stuff. And for myself to learn how to do it better. All right. Talk again soon. Bless you.